everybody. Welcome to Yoga Flow, class number 2. Today we're going to focus a little bit on letting go of negative energy and stress that we're holding on to. Um, we're going to work on grounding ourselves so that we are more open to positive things. We are more open-minded. So we're going to work a lot with our breath today because the more that we learn to control our breath and really focus on it, the more we can relax and really get centered. And that means something different for everyone. So don't think that you have to have a certain experience. It can simply be being able to finally take a deep breath from the belly instead of up in the chest, or feeling a little bit more sense of calm, or letting go of some of the thoughts that circle in your mind all the time. Okay? So we're going to take a couple of minutes here. Again, you don't have to use a pillow or a booster. It's totally up to you. We're going to get into a simple cross-legged pose. Remember, you can always keep your legs out if that's more comfortable. You can cross one over the other. It doesn't matter. It's all about what feels the best for you so that you can focus on your breath and the practice and not worry about being perfect in every step that you do. Okay, we're going to take a second working on that posture. And remember, we want to keep those shoulders rolled back, not forcefully, so that it feels strained. We just want them to be back as much in their natural state as possible. We want the spine to be nice and long. We want those sitting bones right above the butt to be carefully grounded into the floor. You can close your eyes, letting the hands rest gently on the knees. And just take a couple nice deep breaths here. And at first, just observe the breath. Do you feel it in the belly? Do you feel it in the chest? Is it hard to take a deep breath? And once you've taken a couple moments to recognize the flow and the pattern of your breath, we're going to focus on taking those deep breaths from deep in the belly. And it's okay to let your belly expand like a balloon each time you inhale. And then as you exhale, let the belly sink back in. And then start to feel the breath as it travels all the way up through the chest, up through your throat, exhaling out the nose. Letting the negative thoughts and energy escape with each exhale. And relax. We're going to do a couple nice, easy stretches to kind of warm up the spine a little bit and help us feel more centered and strong in the core. So we're going to start just by taking that left hand over to the right knee, reach behind you with the right hand, keep those shoulders back and gently look over the right shoulder. And if it hurts your neck at all or if it strains it to turn this way, you can look to the side or forward. And just again, focusing on those deep belly breaths. And come back to center. Pause for a moment here. And then over to the other side. So take that right hand to the left knee. Left hand rests behind you. Gently looking over that left shoulder. back to center. And from here, we're just going to open up the top of the body. So we're going to take a nice deep inhale up, bringing the arms overhead, palms together. And exhale, release. One more time, inhale, arms up. And exhale, release. And keeping the sitting bones firmly planted down. And when we do these next set of stretches, it's important just to remember that it's better to keep your butt down and have less range of motion than to force it and let your butt come off the ground, because that's not opening up the spine as much and you're not going to get as much extension as we're looking for. So all we're going to do is walk those hands forward. And you can go as far as you want, but as soon as you start to feel your butt come up off the floor, that's where I want you to stop. It doesn't matter how far you get. Just let the head rest neutral. And just take a few nice deep breaths here. If you feel like you can, on each exhale, just walk those fingertips out just a little bit more. And then we're slowly just going to walk over to the left side, and you want to try to have your left knee as the focal point so that you have one hand on each side of the knee. Now that could be up here. If you don't have a lot of flexibility in your spine, don't worry, it will come. And you want to just feel the rib cage and the whole right side of the body relaxing and getting a nice good stretch. Feel it opening up. And then come back to center and take another nice deep breath here. And on the exhale, walk those hands over to the right side, this time with one hand on each side of that right knee, again, to whatever level you're comfortable with. Feel the left side of the body expanding and opening. And then slowly come back to center and slide back up. And we're going to do a few more stretches here just to let that spine really limber up. So we're going to extend both legs out in front, shoulders back. We're going to take a nice deep inhale in, bringing the arms up. And then on the exhale, fold forward over the legs. Now again, here it doesn't matter how far you get. If you get to your toes, great. If this is where you're at, that's fine too. It's a process, it's a practice, it's not perfection, okay? So we're just gonna reach as far as we can. Take some nice deep breaths here. You're gonna feel it through the back of your legs. You might feel it on the back of your knees, and that's okay. If it is straining, you can bend your knees just a little bit. And then we're going to slowly come back up. We're going to bring that left leg in, and we're just going to take that left foot and place it against the right leg. And we're going to do the same stretch, but we're going to focus on just coming down over that right leg. So take a nice deep breath in, bringing the arms overhead. And exhale, come down over that right leg, just letting the arms fall where they are. You can always go further and deeper into the stretch as you go along, and the more warmed up you get. Also, if you feel and you learn to work with your breath on each exhale, you might be able to exert a little bit more and go a little bit deeper. And then we're going to slowly come back up. Bring that leg back in. If you are using a pillow or a booster, we're just going to take it and set it to the side. And we're going to come on to hands and knees. And this is also called tabletop. So if I refer to it at that, then you know it's just being on your hands and feet. Again, like we did last time, we're going to take a second and try to line up those hands and the knees so that everything feels centered, so you don't feel like you're leaning off to one side. And we're just going to take a couple of deep breaths here. Just let the eyes gaze softly towards the mat. And then we're going to inhale, and we're going to extend that left arm out in front and extend the right leg out and back. Now, if you feel that you're out of balance and it's hard, you can always do one at a time, either the leg or the arm to start with. And it's okay if you have to touch down and rest and go back into it, okay? So we're just going to extend out. Taking a nice couple of deep breaths here. And then come back down. Let the body adjust to that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So extend that right arm out and the left leg behind. Again, trying to find your balance here. It might feel a little wobbly at first, and that's okay. And then come back to center. And we're going to stay here for another minute and do a little cat-cow stretch. This again is really opening up that spine and getting a good stretch. And on the inhale, all we're going to do is dip the belly down so you kind of feel like you're sticking your butt up. And then lift the head up. And on the exhale, we're going to do the opposite and arch the back up. Tuck that chin in towards your chest. And release. One more time. Inhale, let the belly dip down, lift the head. And exhale, arch the back up and tuck the chin in. And release. And from here, we're going to step that right foot forward and the left foot forward. Come up into a standing forward bend. You can always keep the knees bent here a little bit if you're feeling pressure on the back. And we're just going to slowly roll the body up. Let those shoulders relax back. We're going to take a moment and work on grounding with the feet. We did a little bit with grounding with the sitting bones on the ground. Now we're going to ground through the feet, which means spreading those toes out and just imagining planting your feet into the earth, into the dirt, getting a nice, strong structure. And then become aware of your posture. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed back and not forward. And we also want to keep those knees lined up over the ankles, the hips over the knees, the shoulders over the hips. Just let your arms drop open to the side. We're going to take a few nice deep breaths here at your own pace. One more deep breath. On the exhale, really focus on planting those feet in. And relax. And we're just going to step the feet out so they're a little bit wider than shoulder width. And we're going to place the hands on the waist. And then we're just going to hinge forward from bending from the waist. We're going to let those hands come down. If you don't feel comfortable or if it's pulling too much, a couple things you can do here. One, you can bend your knees, let the arms rest on the knees. That'll take all the pressure off your lower back. Or you can keep the hands up on the thighs or the shins. If you are feeling more flexible, you can bring those hands down to the floor. Take a nice couple of deep breaths here. Then we're just going to slowly walk those hands towards the left foot. Now this isn't important to get your hands around that left foot or in front of it. If you start to feel a pull in your hips or your back, ease up and come back towards center. It's just that gentle stretch on the rib cage and the spine that we're looking for here. And keep those feet firmly grounded into the floor. Back to center. And then over to the right side, same thing, just to where you feel a good stretch and it's not pulling. You might feel it in the back of your leg a little bit, and that's fine. But if it starts to pull, like you're extending it too much, ease up on it, take those hands back. You can bend the knee. And then come back to center. We're going to very slowly roll ourselves up. And here we're going to keep that right or the left foot where it is. We're going to start to turn that right foot in a little bit. And after you turn that right foot in a little bit, we're going to turn that left foot forward. And we're going to practice grounding through the front leg by just putting most of the pressure on the front of the body. And we're going to just take the hands and clasp them behind your back. If this is pulling too much, you can just bring them to your hips. Okay. And we're going to try to position the hips and the body so that we're looking over that left front leg. So with your hands behind you, take a nice deep inhale and open up those shoulders. And on the exhale, we're just going to lean forward over that leg just to where you can feel a stretch. I'm going to stop here today. And then slowly come up. Come back to center. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. This time, keeping that left heel turned in or out just a little bit, keeping that right foot facing forward, taking those hips and turning them over the right leg. Relaxing the shoulder back. Bring the arms together or the hands together behind the back, or again, you can rest them on the hips. And then slowly come forward over that right leg. And then very slowly come back up. Turn to center. We're going to keep the feet where they are. And we're going to work on opening up the hips a little bit. So all we're going to do here, this also helps with balance and grounding. We're going to turn each foot out just a little bit. They do not have to be all the way out and open. We're just focusing on trying to keep those heels placed towards each other. And we're going to bend the knees here and extend the arms out. And keep the palms up. You're going to feel a lot of stretching through the front here of the body and probably through the backs, the glutes and the hamstrings. Keep those shoulders back. Just take a nice few deep breaths here. And then to come out of this, we just simply straighten the legs, bring the arms down, bring the feet together, come back into our mountain pose. And every time we come back into mountain pose, you want to refocus yourself on grounding the feet. Keeping those shoulders back. Let's go ahead and just take a couple of nice inhales and exhales here. Inhale, bringing the arms overhead, reaching up through the fingertips. And exhale, coming back down. One more time, bring the arms up. And exhale back down. And we're going to work on our balancing move again today. We did the beginning of tree yesterday. So today we're going to work on taking that a step further if you feel comfortable. And you don't have to do it, but you can replay this anytime and practice on your own. That's the only way to get confident here. And I'm going to show you a couple of tricks that you can do to make this pose easier as you're learning it and getting comfortable with it. And the biggest part I want you to remember is to try to let go of the fear of falling or the fear of not being balanced, okay? Because that's what holds us back and puts restrictions on ourselves. So we're going to start just like we did last time with that left heel placed against the right leg. And here, if this is as far as you want to go today, that's perfectly fine. Okay, we're opening up through the hip flexors, getting some good movement in there. You can bring the arms out to the sides, or you can bring the arms overhead or to the heart center. Now, if you want to try taking it further, we're going to take that left foot and put it up onto the right leg. And one thing you can do when you're starting out with this, if you feel uneven or you're going to tip over one way or the other, take that hand, the right hand, and just place it against the wall or a table or a chair or something so that you feel secure. And we're really grounding through that right foot. We're trusting that that right foot is going to be our root. It's going to be strong enough to hold us up. If you want, you can bring the hands to the heart center, overhead, out to the sides. And it's okay if you feel like you need to come down and then come back in. It's perfectly fine, okay? Well, the purpose of getting this leg up more is the opening through the whole side of this left leg and the left hip flexor. This move is great for building confidence, building strength, balance, and then come down, shake that leg out. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, and I'm just going to turn so you can see that you can rest your left arm on the wall or a chair or whatever you have near you. We're going to start by bringing that right heel to the left leg. Again, you can stay here or bring it up onto the leg. You can keep your hand holding something or securing yourself, or you can bring the hands to the heart center or overhead. And then slowly bring the arms down, lay down. And you can tell even after doing that a couple of times how you start to feel more open through the front of your body. There's a lot of energy and tension and stress that gets stored through the hip area. So by doing these, we're just simply letting some of that tension go. Okay, we're going to come back into our mountain pose, grounding the feet again. We're going to bring the arms overhead. This time we're going to take that left wrist and the right hand, just gently grab onto it. You don't have to yank it or pull it. Keeping the feet where they are, we're just going to slightly bend over to that right side. And stay here for a few nice deep breaths. Each time you breathe in, you're going to feel the stretching and release happen on that left side of the body. And we're going to come back to center. Release those arms back down. Inhale, arms up. This time take the right wrist in the left hand. Gently sway over to that left side. Nice deep breaths here, feeling the openness that you're creating and the expansion through that right side of the body. And then back to center. Release the arms. From here, we're going to take a nice deep breath in. We're going to exhale, bending from the waist into a forward bend, and I'll turn so you can see the different levels of this. As you progress through your practice, you're going to find that you can get a little bit further all the time. So don't get frustrated if you don't have a lot of flexibility right now. It will come, okay? And when you're coming into your forward bend, you can let the arms just hang loose. You can also hold on to the elbows, or if you're feeling like you need more support, you can place your hands on the thighs or on the shins. Keep the head neutral, the eyes relaxed, and just go to where you're comfortable. If you feel like exploring a little bit on each exhale, try to get a little bit deeper. Take a couple more nice deep breaths here. Again, grounding through those feet, lengthening through the back of the body. And then we're slowly going to come down onto the feet. And we're going to take a moment and pause here. And don't get frustrated if this is difficult or uncomfortable for you, because it's not a pose that we're naturally in every day. I just want you to try to balance on those feet. You can keep the hands in front of you if you want, or you can bring the hands up to the knees, opening the back, rolling the shoulders back. This is really good for building, again, trust and confidence in yourself, that you can balance and that you're stronger than you give yourself credit for. It's excellent for building strength and flexibility in the legs. Take a couple more nice deep breaths here. Again, you're probably going to feel a little wobbly or feel like you're tilting to one side or the other. If that happens, just take a minute, place the hands on the floor, set your mind to refocusing, rebalancing, and then come back up. And to come out, we're just going to place the hands down, the knees down, and we're going to come back to a simple cross-legged pose. And we're going to work on a couple more stretches to really kind of open that spine and work again on grounding through the sitting bones. If you want to use your pillow or booster, you can put that under your butt. We're going to start by extending that right leg out and keeping the left knee up. Now, if this is where you feel like this is your limit, stop here. If you want to bring that left leg over the right leg, you can. But it's up to you. Don't feel like you have to, okay? And all we're going to do is take this right arm, hook it on that left leg, and put the left hand behind us. And I'll turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing. And the trick here is to gently, you can apply some gentle pressure with that elbow on your knee. That will help strengthen the leg, the butt, the hip even more. And then you're also getting a good stretch through the upper body. If it's comfortable for your neck, you can turn over your left shoulder. If that's straining you at all, you can just keep your head neutral. And then release. We're going to do the same thing with the other side. So we're going to bring that right leg over the left leg, or you can leave it on the inside of the leg. That's perfectly fine. And we're going to take that left arm around the right knee. Right hand goes behind. Again, applying some gentle pressure with that forearm or elbow into that right leg to increase the stretch. And come back to center. We're going to come back into a simple cross-legged pose. And we're going to take the hands and clasp them behind the back. And now you can stay here if you want. If this is enough stretch for you right now, stay right here. We've done this version standing up. And now we're going to do it sitting down so you can feel kind of the shift and change of the focus. This is opening more. You're going to feel it through the front of your shoulders, through the back of your shoulders, in between those shoulder blades where we all get a lot of tension And we're just gonna raise the arms up just a little bit behind us. And then we're gonna release. And now we're going to further the stretching of our shoulders by taking that left arm, bringing it up and placing your left hand on the back of the shoulder, holding on to that left elbow. And just take some nice deep breaths here. You're going to feel probably some tension pulling from the back and side of the body. That's normal. We keep a lot of tension in those shoulders, so we want to keep them as loose as possible and increase our mobility and range of motion. Just take a couple more nice deep breaths here. And then release the arms. We'll do the same thing with the right side. Bring that right hand to the back of your shoulder, just like you were patting yourself on the back. Hold on to that right elbow and just gently, you don't have to forcefully push it back. Just gently apply some pressure. And release. And we're going to come over onto the knees. Sit back on those heels. Now this is a good time to remember that if you have a lot of restriction or tightness in the lower back or the hips, you can take a pillow or bolster and put it right underneath your butt. You can open up the knees a little wider. That'll also help you stretch further into our child's pose. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in here. And on the exhale, we're just going to walk those hands forward just as far as you can feel a good stretch. If you start to feel too much pulling back here, take it back. And the more you do this, the deeper you'll be able to go and the faster you'll be able to get there. But take it slow, especially when you're starting, and try not to put any excess force on it or pressure on yourself. Just let the head rest down. And if you want to keep furthering the stretch, each time you exhale, take those fingertips and just walk them out a little bit more. And then to come out of this, simply walk the hands back and come back up. And now that we did a good stretch for the back of the body, we're going to finish with a nice stretch for the front of the body before we get into our meditation. So again, you can move that pillow or bolster out of the way. We're going to come down onto the back. Now, you can also always keep this pillow or bolster under your hips, so I will show you that way. This is to help protect that spine a little bit if you do have some lower back issues. And we're just going to come back onto the floor, and we're going to focus on opening up the hips and the front of the body. So we're going to take those feet, walk your feet together so the bottoms of your feet are touching, and just let your knees drop open. And at first you might feel a lot of pulling and tension through here. If it's too much, bring the knees back up for a few seconds and then come back down. Or you can do one leg at a time. Ease into this because it will increase and open up the flexibility of your hips a lot the more you do this, but don't force it right away. It will come. And I just want you to take your hands and let them rest on top of the belly. Let your shoulders relax into the floor. And just take a couple minutes here to feel the natural rise and fall of the belly. Let it fill your hands each time you inhale. And let it empty each time you exhale. Take one nice more deep inhale and exhale here. We're going to bring the knees back up. We're going to extend those legs out. If you want to keep a pillow or bolster here, you can, or you can take it out. And we're going to focus on grounding the entire body into the floor. So all the way from your head to your heels, I want you to feel like you're being fully supported, you're strong, you're secure, and you're grounding the entire body. And I want you to stay here. I'm going to sit up and guide you through a full body relaxation. This is something you can do at any time in the morning before you go to bed. I use it a lot to help relax my mind and let go of some anxiety before I try to sleep. You can do it for anywhere from a minute up to 20 minutes if you want. You can repeat it. It's just a great tool to use anywhere, anytime. Okay? So as you're lying with your full body on the floor, letting your shoulders relax back, letting your hips open, try not to hold them tight, let them open. Let the heels rest on the floor. Keep your eyes closed. And we're just going to start to become aware of our breath and our body. And just become aware of any parts of the body that might be sore or tight or that you have a lot of tension in. And focus your breath on those areas to help relax them. And we're just going to relax those toes. If you want to wiggle your toes a little bit, you can. Just let them totally relax. Imagine all the stress just melting away. We're going to take that and bring that up through the rest of the feet and through the heels and your ankles. Just feeling a nice, calm relaxation. And we're going to relax through the lower legs and the knees. Relax up through the thighs, through the hips. Again, keeping those hips open. Relax up through the belly, feeling the gentle rise and fall of the belly with each breath. Relaxing up through the chest. Relax the shoulders into the ground. Relax out through the arms, through the hands, and each fingertip. Relax the neck. Relax the muscles of the face and the eyes. And just stay here for a couple of breaths. And then just start to kind of wiggle the feet and the hands, waking the body back up, but still feeling the relaxation that you created And take your time. When you're ready, come back up to a simple cross-legged pose. We're going to keep those hands on the knees, shoulders relaxed back. Take a nice couple of deep breaths here. Thank yourself for doing a good job. Hands to the heart. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.